Streaming live, this is Tracking the Tropics.
Hurricane Jerry weakens. It remains a non-factor for the United States, but more tropical systems are on the way. We're tracking it all live right here on Tracking the Tropics, being joined by Storm Team 8 meteorologist Amanda Holly, joining us at the Weather Wall. I'm JB Buno here in the WFLA Now Stream Center. Hello to everybody. Happy Friday out there. There's been a lot of talks about the tropics out there on social media today. One forecaster here in Florida saying that storms are popping up like roaches. We don't necessarily think that they're popping up like roaches, Amanda. It's more like just an active tropics out there, right on cue. September, as normal, is expected to be active as far as the tropics go, but let's send it right over to you for the very latest here when we're talking about Hurricane Jerry and what else is out there.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, this is a normal time for September. September 10th, the peak of hurricane season, and what that means is typically it's the most active, and we're seeing a lot of storms out there right now in both the Atlantic and the Pacific, but not unusual. Temperatures are warm, conditions are ripe in the Atlantic for storm formation, and of course we have Hurricane Jerry out there right now. And Jerry has actually gone through some structure changes in the past 24 hours or so. We were talking about a Category 2 storm earlier, and now it is a Category 1 storm. It's back down to 85-mile-per-hour sustained winds, and it does not look very impressive on satellite right now. And the hurricane hunter is not really finding a center at this point. It just looks pretty ragged because it ran into an area of some higher shear, and it's going to have those impediments as it makes its way across the Atlantic a little bit farther. But nonetheless, the northern Leeward Islands right now seeing heavy rain, seeing some gusty winds. They are experiencing the outer fringe effects from Jerry, but otherwise, we're talking about a storm that's moving very quickly west-northwest at 17 miles per hour, and it's going to continue on this track just north of the Caribbean islands here. Everybody asking about Puerto Rico. I know it's, a 2-year anniversary of Hurricane Maria. Puerto Rico will likely see again the outer effects from Jerry, and I'm talking, some rain bands moving through, some gusty winds, but nothing like what Maria brought to Puerto Rico. You can see here on the official track, it's expected to stay a Category 1 storm, and then maybe actually weaken a little bit as we get towards the end of the weekend as shear kind of increases. Some drier air is going to be making its way in, and then it's going to recurve out into the Atlantic as what we call a trough, or what you would see on a weather map as a cold front. That's going to swing through the United States and actually push Jerry out to sea as well. So we are expecting a little bit of a slowdown in the movement of Jerry, the forward movement, as we get towards the end of the weekend and the beginning of next week. So we'll watch the timing here, but overall the models agree again that it is going to turn out to sea, and the United States won't be affected by this, nor will the Bahamas. Of course, they need clear weather, and the models agree that the turn is going to happen before those islands as well. Now, Bermuda can't say the same thing about that. Of course, they just dealt with major Category 3 Hurricane Umberto, and that, of course, Umberto is no longer. It's up to the north, but we will likely be seeing impacts from Jerry in Bermuda over the next week or so, about 5 days from now, next Tuesday or Wednesday. But you can see there's just a good general agreement, overall agreement of the movement. There's when we talk about fine details, right, there is spread here in the models, there's spread here in the models, but I said it yesterday, if we were talking about a storm that was going to be impacting the United States and we really needed to own in on that forecast, it would be a bigger deal. But right now we're talking about a fish storm that is just out to sea, so minor details, not really of concern to us here in the United States. What is of concern and hasn't really been talked about a whole lot here is the remnants of Imelda still impacting parts of eastern Texas. We're talking about rainfall totals up to 43 inches in some areas, and that could be even worse than what they saw during Hurricane Harvey a couple years ago. And it's still raining right now. This is current radar there. You can still see some of the bandings that from the remnants of Imelda. Imelda is no longer a tropical system, but it is still producing. There's still a lot of tropical moisture that's still producing these downpours here. So those rainfall totals continue to add up, exacerbating the flooding concerns there. So pay attention to that, because that is definitely a big storm, a big thing that happened while we were talking about Jerry, while we were talking about Umberto, but it was just a minimal tropical storm, barely formed before it made landfall. And we're talking about some of the same effects that Hurricane Harvey brought with the rainfall. So that obviously wasn't a wind concern of a storm, it was a rain, and still is. The rest of the tropics, remain quite active. We're talking about 2 potential areas with a low chance of developing, and then 1 area, a tropical wave that hasn't even come off the coast of Africa yet, but already has a high chance of developing as soon as it makes its way off the coast of Africa. So I'll talk about these 2 areas here that have a low chance. There's a little bit of a moisture area here just in the Caribbean, in the northern Caribbean, if you will, that has a low chance of developing. Really not concerned about that one. Again, just a low chance over the next 2 and 5 days, just about a 10% chance of developing there. And then there's a tropical wave that's sitting behind Jerry that as it moves towards the Lesser Antilles here and into the Caribbean has a low chance of developing as well. But again, a low chance. Even beyond this, models don't do a whole lot with this storm long term. So good news there. Now, that's a different story with the tropical wave that's about to come off the coast of Africa. Again, still over the coast of Africa right now. Has not moved over open waters, but as soon as it does, it will have a high chance of developing. Conditions just ripe for it to kind of develop rather quickly as well. We'll see a tropical storm develop, and it will probably make hurricane status relatively quickly as well. But good news here also, long-range models don't bring this one close to land. Obviously, that's far away. 2 weeks from now, something we'll continue to watch. But the tropics remain active, JB. That's kind of what we've got going on here in the Atlantic. There are several named storms out in the Pacific as well, but nothing threatening Hawaii at this point. So the United States pretty much in the clear for the time being.
I want to give a lot of our commenters here who are joining us here live on WFLA's Facebook page a shout out. People like Amy Harrison, Shirley Violini, Jonathan Mosley, Connie Sanford, Cliff McAfee Jr., Mary Finch, Jessica Nicole, William DeLima, all of you guys joining us here live on Tracking the Tropics as we're monitoring not just Hurricane Jerry, but other systems out there that are still yet to form. Amanda, I'm very much looking forward to when we start to see tropical activity taper off in the weeks ahead. When are we going to see things start to quiet down a bit? And we're not talking about multiple systems out there, but maybe just a stray 1 or 2 systems out there that we're keeping an eye on.
So typically August and September are very active. We didn't see a whole lot of activity in August. September has been very active. Of course, at the end of August we had Dorian there, but September has been very active and conditions continue to seem like we're going to see these tropical waves move off the coast of Africa every few days or so, and each of them have a chance of developing, but not really until late October can we kind of relax. I know that seems like a far ways away. I mean, September 10th is the largest peak, but we'll also see another little peak in activity coming in early October. And then as we get towards the end of October and all the way through November, we'll be talking maybe about 1 or 2 storms, but typically activity starts to slow down then.
I think we're all looking forward to it. I think the Bahamas will, folks in the Bahamas will be able to sleep a little bit more soundly at night, knowing that there isn't a major tropical system, potentially heading their way. So I know that we're going to be keeping everybody informed here on Tracking the Tropics. As a reminder, Storm Team 8 meteorologist Amanda Holly, myself, and others, we're also joined by meteorologists from across the United States. We're here to keep you alert, informed, and educated when it comes to what's going on out there, not to incite any panic. So regular updates like these will be reoccurring in the days and weeks ahead as we continue to monitor what's out there, but it's just meant to inform you so that you know what's going on out there, just like we do. We're always keeping an eye on the tropics, everybody. So we're going to get going here with this edition of Tracking the Tropics. We know that we have more work ahead, and we're going to be keeping an eye on things in the days and weeks ahead. But for Storm Team 8 meteorologist Amanda Holly, I'm JB Buno. Thanks so much for being with us. Remember, you can follow us for our regular episodes, 1:30 Eastern, 12:30 Central every Wednesday, but we are continuously doing more and more episodes as the tropics remain active late into September. Everybody, for Amanda Holly, I'm JB Buno. Thanks for being with us. We'll see you soon.
Thank you for watching Tracking the Tropics.